All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 209 of Keeping It Real. Like always, I'm your host, jackkadis. And this episode is brought to you by, well, I don't know who it's brought to you by because we don't have a sponsor. I was thinking for a second maybe I could make one up on the spot, and a couple ran past my head. Not a couple, just one. But I decided to hold it back to instead use this ad read time to give a call to action. If you'd like your ad here, honestly, your best bet's probably leaving a comment. You could also send me an email at jacklkadis@gmail.com. That's jacklkadis@gmail.com. Either one works. It's probably, I think, $5, $10 if you want a minute, $5 for 30 seconds. This episode, we're going to do what we did last episode. I think it worked fantastic. And when you find something that works well, try it again the next day. We're going to break it up into 3 segments. The first segment is going to be 20 minutes long like the rest, and it's going to be a bit of a personal update. I'm going to talk about returning to college, and it's going to be a bit of an emotional check-in. After all, this is Keeping It Real. The second segment is going to be all about artificial general intelligence. You could drop the general, but we'll talk about it when we get to it. And the third and final segment is just going to be a little bit of advice, philosophy. Maybe we'll hear from our always in the background special guest. He's not here right now, but I'm not actually sure I don't think he's here. I think he's, but he's there. And yesterday, last episode, it seemed that the final segment was a good time for him to chime in. So we'll see if that same thing can happen again in this episode. So without further ado, let's get into the really uncomfortable and least enjoyable part of this experience, for me at least, and let's get real. Yesterday we left off this segment with we talked about my parents, and it's not so much my mom as it is my dad. I don't know, really. I just, it's tricky because I feel like I don't know. You know how dads can be. Everyone listening, you probably have a dad. And, I feel like you just never really know what their thoughts are so, they're so totally, not open on the table. Maybe your dad is. I don't know. My dad, and I don't, by no means do I want to, talk about my dad on a pod, but it's I send a text to both my brothers. I text them every single day, and I call my mom every single day. And I started doing that probably a month or two ago, and I really, really like that I do. I think it was a really great thing for me to do. And recently, I even started texting my friend Sam every single day. I actually schedule those texts because I don't schedule the text for my bros, and you can't schedule a phone call. Obviously, I have to call my mom. It has to be my voice. I can't record a phone call in advance. But with Sam, I was like, I'll just try something new. Let me see. I'm going to keep these messages scheduled out weeks in advance. And I love it. I love doing it. He's never brought it up. Even though my message gets sent at the same time every single day, I like to actually vary it a couple minutes. So it'll be 12:57, 12:58, 12:59, then back to 12:58. I think it's pretty funny, and he hasn't brought it up. He actually responds. Out of, and phone call not included, because mom always picks up, which I'm so grateful for, of course. But it's funny, you have to really say that, and then you have to really mean it, because when that kind of thing is happening, say you have a mom that will always pick up your phone call, it's really easy to say you're really grateful for it and not really mean it at all, honestly. And but That's not something that I have to necessarily have. I have to remind myself throughout the segment that I'm here to be uncomfortable. Like, it's supposed to feel really uncomfortable. Like a second ago, I was talking about the way that I think I just really want to make my dad very proud. And it's a scary thing because I know no matter what I do or don't do, he's always going to say he's extremely proud of me. But it's just like I have to, like, it's like this thing that I have in my head where it's like what I think if I were him, I would really actually be really proud of me for, if that makes sense. I have, like, it's like externally, like, what, like, he's always like, you know, externally, it's never like he's ever been like not proud of me. It's like I've said this before. It's like every day I get older, and that is an accomplishment in itself. And like, if you know, he's just a dude. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't like. It's not like he's like, I'm not proud of you, or like you are. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm ashamed of you. It's like nothing like that. And like, but it is. It's like, it's really pressing kind of what I up in my own head. And maybe, to be honest, I mean, maybe that's not all internal. Maybe some of it's external, you know, like whether it's intended or not. I just like, there's just like a lot that I have to, there's just a lot that I have to live up to. Honestly, to be honest, completely honest with you. And we live in this time where it's so easy to make excuses because of this and because of that. And it's hard to understand what is an excuse and what is, I don't know, going easy on yourself. Because it's like, I don't, like, I don't know. This might be one of those things where he's a dad and I'm not a dad, and things always seem bigger, I guess, when they're upcoming, and then smaller in the rear view mirror. But that doesn't make this feel any less big. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm the oldest. And just the way, like, it's all gone, and like they was both my parents' first time raising a kid, and it's my first time being anyone's kid, and it's sometimes I just think honestly it's just a lot, and I carry it on my and I act like it's not that big of a deal, or maybe I just don't talk about it too much, but it is definitely. Like, you're hearing me talk about it right now, and it's definitely something that I think I could talk about a lot. I don't know, I don't know. It's also, I feel very silly. Like, I think it's very important that this is the first segment of the show, but also very nerve-wracking. Like, yesterday we had a very big clickbait title, Israel and Palestine. Something, to be quite honest with you, I never thought that I would be titling anything that I would post publicly to the internet. I've often, but it all fell into place, and I was really proud of that piece yesterday, episode 208. And just like this episode, yesterday's episode starts off with a segment where I try my best to be extremely uncomfortable with the mic, and here I am again, kind of like side skirting. Like, I have to think right now, like, what makes me uncomfortable? Like, what can I say that is something that I feel like I shouldn't say? It's a balancing act, because like there are things that you feel like you shouldn't say, and there's probably a good reason that you feel like you shouldn't say them. But that's like someone saying they don't want to try something just because they don't want to try. I mean, you know, you have to. It's funny because the older I get, the more and more I find myself effectively avoiding what I classify as mistakes. And if anything, I feel like I should be trying to make more. Like, it's such a reverse, it's like one mistake when you're 16 is worth like 25 mistakes when you're 21, about to turn 22. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying to you, like, when and mistakes are weird because I can't actually look back and say anything was a mistake. Actually, yes, I can. Yes, I can. There was one time, yeah, I can. But then, but I could also like defend myself. Like, there was this one time where there was this girl, and I mean, it was more than one time. I can think of like 3 right at the top of my head where but it's like I'm scared to say this out loud because I keep it up in my head and I don't say this kind of thing. But I'm really gonna push to explain this, and I'm probably gonna be really defensive. But so the first time that I think of, I am at this house party, and it was her house party. But this doesn't matter. I'm just giving like irrelevant details right now, and I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I thought maybe she liked me, and that's my first line of defense. Like, my first line of defense here is like, I thought she liked me. So it's like, you can't think I'm that bad of a person because I thought she liked me. So I end up like pulling her away, and like looking back on it, I was really just like, I really needed to prove to myself that like I was a guy that girls liked, maybe, for whatever reason. And that's my second layer of defense. Like, you can't get mad at me because I am older now and I look back on it and see things that were wrong with me then that are no longer wrong with me now. Or at the very least, I'm trying my best to, eradicate or improve. And I pulled her to this tree in the backyard because that's like just where I could find that was away from people. And I tried to get her to take her hand and put it on a place of me that was going to feel good, I guess. And it's just really it's just kind of disgusting. And and my second line of defense is like, it's not that disgusting. But I think it's just part of growing up, and that's like my fourth line. I could give you lines of defense for forever and forever and forever. But this is something that, honestly, I did a really good job at blacking out. This happened, and then I did my best to forget about it. And you should, if you have, I think that one of the biggest problems is, or not one of the biggest problems, but I really hate when I look back on things, and I don't know what it is I hate about it. I don't know if I hate the thing that I did or if I hate the fact that I try my best to forget about it, because there was so many things that I could have done, but maybe things that I still could do. Maybe I could reach out and be like, yo, that it's fucked up. This is fucked up. But I haven't actually thought this before, but I am actually saying this out loud though. Because when I think about it, because I've always thought about it because I did it. And then after you do something, you just think about it. And I think I really taught myself to forget about it. And I honestly think that I did it so well that whatever processes or steps that I took succeeded, because only now that I'm talking about it in this segment on this episode into the microphone, where I know Griffin can hear me at the very least, and even if he can't, I imagine that he can. He might not even be in his shed right now. I can't see the screen. But I hear him. But whatever, it's going live. My mom hears it, at the very least. This is gonna go live. And so, Yeah, and so maybe I could tell you. I mean, I don't know. That was a lot. That was a lot, and right now I'm like really like right now I feel like I'm really really stacking words to just like move past what I just said because it was like that was a lot that I just said, and like I also said, like that wasn't the only time that I did something kind of like that. Um, yeah, not and yeah. Um, and I can get defensive about it really easily. I could be like, there's like tons of things that I could say. That's just the way. I'm just growing. I was just growing up, and you know, kind of like a boys will be boys card type of deal, maybe to use some sort of like. And I don't know. Part of me I want to like do this in like percentages, right? Like I don't want that to be what I say. Like I don't want like the end of it to be like, oh, that's just what happened. But I also don't want the end of it to be like, oh, I'm a monster. Moving on. Like I don't believe either one of those statements 100%. So I guess I think what I just said kind of that's pretty articulate, I guess. If you're following me and what I'm saying, then maybe you just nodded your head and said, "Hey, that makes sense." Um, but yeah, there we go. I thought I was going to talk about what had I written down yesterday? Wanting to be better friends with my dad. Um, that one's not too pressing to be quite honest with you because I'm going home soon and I really can't wait. I really can't wait. So I got 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this segment, and dude, I feel pretty like that. I mean, what I just squeezed out of myself was pretty. I don't want to say juicy, but like definitely hurt. I definitely did not want to. I definitely didn't think I'd be talking about that, and B didn't want to talk about that. And I have to be honest with you. In the back of my mind, I still feel very firm from like a PR stance. Like I don't think like I stand by myself in what I said. And maybe eventually we'll get to a point in this episode where this segment, I think I have to ease back into it because we really like got to a place with this episode at times where like I was saying some pretty crazy things. And I think that was along the right steps. And then we took a bunch of steps backwards when I got rid of the part of me that was like okay with sharing and stuff like that. But now we brought it back, and I don't know if I'm saying I want to like take it slow, but I am saying maybe I'm not going to find any sort of like buzzer beater thing to drop on you to carry into tomorrow's segment. We'll probably just start tomorrow's segment with a clean mind and just try to think about like how I'm thinking right now, like what's going on with me. Like what was this segment really for in the first place? It was for a personal update, returning to college and an emotional check-in. Personally, my house is clean, and I've been taking action today to keep it that way. A big thing that I do is clean my house and then let it get dirty again. But right now, not only did I clean it yesterday, but my actions have continued to make it clean. Now I feel like I should confess that I should have bought clean groceries today for clean food to go in my body, but instead I got Chipotle after work, and then for dinner I've eaten a combination of Airheads, Minute Maid fruit punch, Popcorners cheddar, just all my comfort junk food. I went to Food Lion and spent like $25. I even have Drumsticks ice cream in the freezer, and bacon, egg, and cheese microwavable breakfast wraps. So it's kind of like awesome, and it sucks because this is not what I need to be eating. I have a 10-mile run coming up on Sunday. But it's also awesome because I just watched iRobot for the first time with Will Smith, and I ate all this food, junk food, and I'm going to eat more of it when I finish this video. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I don't, I'm not going to if it hurts my stomach, I'm going to stop eating. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm coming back to college, man. I mean, I'm coming back to college. This is because I have so much free time, and a lot of it goes to just watching YouTube videos aimlessly. And I think because of that, and because of the just a lot of different reasons, it's hard. It's difficult for me to find a groove with this video stuff. Eventually, I went on a coffee binge. It's hard getting back into a groove. But when school starts, I'm really gonna try my best to. And it's dangerous speaking in these kinds of ways. When this happens, I'll do this. I should be doing it right now, and that's uncomfortable to admit to myself, but that's true. I should be doing it right now. And then an emotional check-in. I'm doing really good. I think one of the best things for me mentally is going to Jersey Mike's and working a shift at Jersey Mike's. Seriously, as much as it absolutely sucks, I need my coworkers. I need them desperately. My boss, I need to be around these people. I mean, really, 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 really. They are seriously a big part of why everything is going so well, because they're just people that I go and I see, and it's very important that they exist. I can't really even explain it, but I think I think that this is the end of the first segment. This is an ad spot. I'm doing an ad read right now. If you want your ad here, then let me know. I'm going to give a bit of an example ad read. I'm going to advertise something that I'd like to advertise because I can't pay myself, but I can advertise in my own ad spots, so as long as they're not taken by someone else. But if you'd like to take this ad spot that you are about to hear, it's going to be $10 for this 2-minute ad read. And it'll be a lot shorter than 2 minutes today because we're just going to get right back into my show. And I'm just going to give a little bit of an example ad read. But if you're interested, then send me an email, or your best bet, honestly, is probably commenting on this video. My email, regardless, is jacklkadis@gmail.com. That's jacklkadis@gmail.com. And I like to advertise my Instagram. Right now, I will say I don't think it's anything necessarily special. It's very much on par with a lot of pages you'll see on the app where someone makes roughly the same video over and over and over again. But I will tell you that this is, simply put, my recipe. If you have any interest in being somewhere on the ground floor, then I invite you to follow my Instagram, because it will only go up as I won't stop putting work in. That's just the way that things work in this world, and I've chosen to put work in consistently day after day into social media. So if you'd like to be a part of it, I would love for you to be. All right, rolling into the second segment of the episode, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. I wrote, actually, for the topic of this segment, artificial general intelligence. And that's exciting for me to say out loud to you people. I don't know, there might be a bunch of different ears listening. We have my mom, who is very, 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 very young. And then, we have other demographics of other people that are different ages and such. But artificial intelligence is, I want to say new, old, been around, but time is all relative and it gets crazy. I believe AI began in the 80s or 90s because you start with ChatGPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Now, you can imagine the inside of your brain, simply put. And it's funny because, truly, AI does mimic the human brain. It is very barbaric in a certain light when it comes to comparison. But the way a neural network functions is with How we would interact with one is with dials. You change the output of what we call a black box. You have a prompt that goes in and then a generative text answer that comes out. And what you get in between those is the black box, or what you might call the brain. And inside that black box, you have, imagine for me, 2 columns. And each column has 4 rows labeled 1 through 4. Now, in each column, let's just look at the first row on the first column. And now that's labeled 1. Now, 1 is connected to all rows on the second column. Column number 2 will have the same rows, but we'll label each row as assigned to column 2 with 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. And row 1 in column 1 is also connected to 2A and 3A and 4A. Now we move down to row 2 in column 1. 2 is connected to 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. And continued, you find this sort of web. And it's a web of connection, so to speak. So like you have neurons and like you have thought processes and path of reasoning, a black box or a generative pre-trained transformer has a lot of words. And they don't just have words, they have words in context. The big 5 in the text industry, I forget the acronym they go by, but it's something funny. You got your Apple, your Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, or I guess Meta. Sorry, Meta, I think you never know who owns who these days, honestly, and that's a bit off topic. But what they want right now is data, and they want it bad. Because as buzzword and buzzy as AI and the whole industry is, we're not at a stage where robots can do everything. It's an arms race to feed the computer more and more and more data. And I will admit that's extremely exciting. Matter of fact, that's why I'm talking about this today. But you have to be realistic. I mean, I just watched this film, I, Robot, starring Will Smith, and we are very, very far away from anything like discussed in that film. But funny enough, it was actually set in 2035, so we'll see how close. It was set in Chicago, and it did not look like how it looks today. So we'll see. We'll see what goes down. But in a black box, each row and each column, there's dials that you can turn. The human is in charge of this, and through algorithms and computer learning and all, we take these data sets and we do simple things, a lot of simple things, like which word appears the most. And then with that word that appears the most, which 2 words appear the most next to that word, on the left or right? As English speakers, we read left to right. So you have to understand that these computers, at least I believe, that they do not understand what they're saying. But you have to understand how crazy of a time we're living in here, because when I say that statement, I almost want to take it back and think about it for a little bit. Because what does it mean to understand something? I have access to the monthly subscription version of GPT. I think it's GPT-4o. Lowercase o stands for optimize. I don't know. The company OpenAI is getting so capitalist. It's getting so engulfed by the arms of, I don't know, the economy and stocks and everything, and they just signed a $200 million deal with the military. It's like they're public, I think. Actually, I don't know. I want to stay away from that. How do you define understanding? Because we can go to an old lady's house who has a bunch of cats, and she can tell you, oh, this cat really understands when I talk to it, but this cat, not so much. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd be a little bit hesitant to call that lady crazy. And I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. I use it all the time. I use it when I want to know how many calories are in something. I use it when I want to know how to fix my vehicle. And I use it when a girl just rejected me. And sometimes I'm not going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes it really is able to, it's able to interact with me in a way that makes me feel something that I've never felt before from something that's not alive. Like GPT seriously hooks a brother up when it comes to literally anything. And that is not something that should be understated whatsoever. So there's two sides of the party that we're on here. There's the side where it's like, okay, listen, Boston Dynamics exists. ChatGPT exists. Giant robotic arms that build Tesla vehicles and huge molding casts exist. So if artificial intelligence was, in a sense, truly intelligent, aka like intelligent to the point where, well, maybe it's not capable. If it was truly capable as I am, then I don't think that the world would look like it looks today. Like we talked about in yesterday's episode, people are dropping bombs on people. I just don't see that being something that would happen in a world where AI is truly what these advertisements say it is. I mean, I saw this ad the other day, and it was something along the lines of, and I use YouTube Premium, so I don't see a lot of ads, but I have 2 other YouTube accounts that I upload to daily, so sometimes I'll forget to switch out of an account, and I'll end up seeing an ad, and I wonder what percentage of advertisements overall are made up by something artificial intelligence related in today's day and age, because I mean, I could not, maybe I'm the target audience, but I couldn't believe the terminology that these people, this is the ad that I saw. The yellow bar is going across the screen, and it's just some AI company. I think it was something that could like maybe help you with, it's just, it's just some part of my bullshit. It's just some bullshit. We're in a huge bubble, okay? And back in 2001, when the internet was on the up and comingness of itself, there was a .com bubble, and you would get all these bullshit companies just trying their best to make a cash grab. And this is what I saw. I see a different AI company name every single damn day. And this ad, it said, anything you can think can become reality. And people, if you ever hear anyone like that, that's just some straight bullshit. What does that mean? What are you even saying? Like it's so infuriating. Not infuriating. It's so ridiculously vague that you're honestly wondering, like, how can you, how? It's actually insane. And it's insane. And it's not insane because it's probably working. They're probably profiting off that ad. People see that ad and they decide that whatever product they're peddling is worth hard-earned money. What are we doing here? What? Anything you can think can become reality? That's how life normally is. That is how life normally is. Your thoughts are you, okay? How can you possibly hear someone describe a product that way and then say, oh, I think I need to buy that product? That's like someone stopping you on the corner and being like, sir, if you give me $5, I'll give you permission to drink water. If you want to drink water and you think it, give me $5 and you'll have all the tools at your disposal. I'll give you my product. My product is letamandrinkwater.com. I'll give it to you. It's in my hand right now. I hand it to you. I just need $5 a month. $5 a month. And if water is what you desire, then water is what you will get. It's snake oil. There should be a class. I mean, did no one ever take marketing? I mean, it's snake oil. It is snake oil. And it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, because it's not like all these people are like, this is going to be the savior to my life. I can't wait for this. I can't wait. They've just heard this phrase AI so much that they say, I should just, see what this is about and spend some money on it. You know what I'm saying? When it's for free. Everything that, whatever product you're getting, it's for free. It's free. It is free. It's free. You go, you search ChatGPT, it's free. DeepSeek, even better of a model. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's ridiculous. It's free. It's like these women's beauty care products where you have like that thing on a stick with like it's like marble and it rolls your cheekbones. That's snake oil. But it's not a big deal because it's not necessarily a big deal if it's like actually proven to work or not. It's more of, yeah, I like this product because I get to spend time, caring for myself. Even if, that care is not scientifically backed and like, oh, this will actually make my skin healthier and make me more beautiful. It'll make me feel more beautiful. And, beauty is one of those things where it's really like placebo truly does work in that industry. Take this pill and you will be more attractive. Like that's the kind of thing where you take the pill, and attractiveness is really a lot based on confidence. And if you think the pill's going to do it for you, even if the pill is literally just a bunch of salt and water and a pill, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work in a weird way. And it's the same with these goddamn products, these life fixers, these think and do advertisements. It's like, sure, I got money. I got money, and I'm always wondering what I'm going to spend my money on. So I'll spend some money. And it's like, if I use the tool every day, then what? I guess, eureka. I guess I am smarter. I guess I am. I guess it's working. I guess everything's amazing. It's amazing. So it's scary. It's scary because the topic for this segment is artificial general intelligence. And we haven't even talked about that at all because AGI is much different than AI. Much, 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 much different. The general describes a version of AI that is highly capable in the sense that it's hard to even describe. I mean, you can think of it this way. AI is a fun alternative to Google, but AGI is a fun alternative to life. And it's not something to worry about because people have been saying it's 10 years away for the past 30 years. Granted, we're much closer to it than we've ever been today, but it's not something that I see happening anytime soon. We seem to have there was a big boom where people, the money invested in data sets and training new models seemed every year to go up by a factor. If you go up by a factor, is that exponential? I got to know these things. I'm taking pre-calculus again this year. Like it seemed to be doubling every year. Like you would hear OpenAI would come online with GPT-3, and GPT-3 is actually really good. It holds context amazing, and it barely hallucinates. And the next year you'd hear, oh my God, they're training GPT-4, and hundreds of thousands of dollars are going into it. Oh my God, they're training GPT. Oh wait, first it was 3.5. And then you hear, oh my God, they're training GPT-4, and millions of dollars are going into it. And then you hear tens of millions, and then hundreds of millions. And then you hear that headline where Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, requesting like hundreds of trillions of dollars, or like so much money that it's worth more than the country that we live in. And that's when you start to realize, okay, this isn't, like that money isn't gonna come. Like that money doesn't exist. So the next step doesn't exist. But there's lots of different factors in play, right? Like there's the computers that run the training, and computers have always had a demand to be faster, more compact, more efficient. And they do continue. Every single day we have lots of great minds working on that problem. For decades now, that's been the case. People trying to push more processing power into a smaller package. Even though Euler's law, I believe, has been said to be at its end, where the transistor keeps on shrinking by exponentially each year. You know, we're making transistors now that are smaller than 1/100th of the human hair, so small that they actually are hard to conceptualize. So the size of the actual transistor is coming, I think, to a close, but it's more than just transistors. It's board architecture. The way that these transistors interact is extremely complex. If you want to go and look up the map of a GPU or a CPU, you'll look at it and it looks like just a bunch of squares and rectangles with lines. And it's like, what the hell is this? That, my friend, is billion and billions of transistors. So just think for a second, if you have a billion of something, think about how many different ways you can organize 1 billion of something. So there's a lot to go, I think. It's just because the transistor is reaching its limits size-wise, doesn't mean we can't push board architecture. And even on a larger scale, you have data centers which this is much more of an easily conceptualized thing with a mind like mine, or I assume yours. Rows and rows of these racks that all need to be cooled, and they all interact with code. How do they all talk together and, you know, operate in unison? That's something that can be organized and, you know, and redone and made more efficient. So the way we train models and how much money it might cost to get to, say, GPT-5, which I've heard they're doing, is very much subject to shrink. So while I will say that I don't see this is what I think. I think realistically, we won't be driving our cars anymore. I think that there might be new roads that open up and new companies that come online and new regulations that eventually push the human being out of the driver's seat. I think Teslas, especially on autopilot, have a ridiculously small window of error and create way, way, way less death on the road. So it's a no-brainer. The money will meet with the safety, and both will combine in such a beautiful way that if you want to go and drive your own car, it's going to have to be at a private track. You're going to have to pay money to go to a track or build one in your backyard. There will be no more human behind the wheel stuff happening. But I don't think that we will run the risk of, how do I say? I don't think AI or AGI is going to be in charge of our nuclear weapons. I see the cars happening, and I see self-driving, and that's not necessarily AI, but it's going to provide a lot more data. I kind of got off track here, and this is the end of the segment. So just like last segment, I'm not going to say at all what I think tomorrow's hot topic segment is going to be about. We'll freestyle. You have to wait and see. We won't freestyle. I'll write it down, but I'm not going to tell you till tomorrow. I might. I don't know. But with 5 seconds left in this segment, hope I did a good job about talking about this. AI is exciting. I implore you to look into it. Okay, this is the third ad read of the episode, third and final. If you have any interest in making this ad spot your own, it is $5 for this 1-minute time slot. I'm going to go ahead and plug my YouTube channel. Please, this is a call to action. If you're listening to this and you got this far in the episode, subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, do me a favor. I worked my ass off for this. It's my hobby, and I love it to death. If you wouldn't mind, I know you see a lot of people in your day-to-day life, recommend me. Recommend me like you'd recommend a book, like you'd recommend a service, like you'd recommend a practice. I am here for all to hear, and one of the best ways for me to gauge how well I'm doing is to have more eyes, ears. I was going to say mouths, but I don't want any mouths on me. So, let's get into the third segment. All right, this segment's always a little bit weird. In this segment, we talk about my advice, my philosophy, And it's hard to give advice when, I mean, I can give advice. I can give advice. I think I'll pull from a certain thing that happened to me today, and I'll give kind of the advice that I'd give to myself to you. So I clock into work, and I'm making the sandwich, right? And I guess, I had just woken up. Probably didn't have a smile on my face. But I'm doing my job. My uniform's clean. I'm not like, I'm making a good sandwich. I'm making the sandwich the same as I make any other sandwich. And what does she do? What does this lady do? She's just got a fat fucking attitude. I guess she doesn't like the way I'm making her sandwich. And we as human beings, we're socially aware. So I pick up on this. And maybe I just woken up. Maybe it was like, well, fuck you too. I don't know. I probably, she could probably tell the story and tell you all the little things that I did that pissed her off. But she's telling me, I get the sandwich, and I ask her Mike's way. I know I'm Mike's little puppet. It's ridiculous. I work at this place. It's like that thing you always see in TV shows and movies where it's like, hey, welcome to Harry Wiener's, where we make the wiener your way. I literally have to say, do you want this Mike's way? I have to say it. That's part of I get paid to say that. I don't get to say, like, what can I do? Like, how can I make this sandwich for you? Or I don't get to be like, what do you want on it? Or like, I have to say, do you want this Mike's way? And she's like, she looks at me with this stupid fucking face. I'm sorry, this is so mean. And where does the philosophy come in, or the advice? I don't know. And she's like, and she's like waving her hand like it's like I'm her like computer and I'm being slow to boot up. And she's like, fuck, like she's pissed at her fucking computer. She's so mad at me. And she's like, I don't know what that is. I want lettuce, and I want vinegar, and I want no tomato, no onions, and I want salt and mayo. So I'm putting it on her sandwich, and I'm doing it fast, and I'm doing my job. I don't know what to tell you. I'm doing my job. And what did she say? Oh, I guess I do what I always do. 2 shakes of salt. Now, let me tell you something. You got to understand this. Salt is clear, okay? Salt, I don't care what you think. You don't have a good enough eye to understand how much salt comes out of a salt shaker, all right? I shake it twice. That's a lot of salt. That's what I shake it twice for every sandwich, okay? That's just, like, it's salt. It's fucking salt. You know how much salt is in the meat at Jersey Mike's? The meat is 99% salt. Like, you tell me when you want salt in your sandwich, okay, you're batshit crazy. But I put the same amount of salt on every sandwich. And then she says, oh, I didn't see any come out of that. I didn't see any of it come out. And I was like, okay. So I just shook more, whatever. And then I put the lid on, and maybe I asked, like, anything else. I don't know. Put the lid on. And then as I'm passing it to the thing, she says, oh, he must be new. And then from this point on, she's decided that I'm no longer even someone that she wants to acknowledge as a human being. It's like I've pissed her off so much somehow just by trying my best to appease her. I pissed her off so much that she no longer will even acknowledge that I exist. And the whole time I'm trying my best to look down at the counter, look at the sandwich. I'm trying my best to breathe. I'm trying my best to breathe in and breathe out, and rely on my muscle memory to do what I do every single day. Actually, not every day. I'm part-time now. But what I do when I'm on the clock and make sandwich, and I pass along to the right, and then she has more to say. She wants a bag. She's decided she wants a bag. But she decides that she can no longer interact with me because I'm just not even a human being. So she looks behind me to my boss and says, can I get a bag? Excuse me, man, can I get a bag? She grabs my boss's attention and says, can I get a bag? And I hear her say that, right? So, I'm making the same. The bag's right next to me, so I grab the bag and open it, and that's the end. That's the end of the interaction. That's the end of it. And here's where the philosophy and the advice comes in. I really locked the F in. I think as a person, it's very important to understand that there is a line that you can draw for yourself. And the line might not be describable. Like, it might not be something that you can put on paper. Given a minute change in whatever had happened this morning, you may have found me getting fired and screaming at her and saying, "Hey, bitch, fuck you." But if you stay in the moment and you just choose your own tips and tricks, you have to think. You have to really use your brain. And like, what have I been through? What has happened? Who am I? For me personally, breathing is a good thing because I breathe involuntarily all the time. But thinking about breathing in these scenarios really helps time pass. And that's a really big key for me with these things. Because in these moments where I don't care if it feels like I don't care if I live or die. Like, it's like I just want to pick up the knife and throw it at her, right? It's like that's the kind of I don't actually think that. Like, I don't actually have that thought. But it's like this weird red growth in the back of my brain. Like, that's the feeling that it is. Like, it's like these small things start to add up, and it's like this feeling of like I'm really doing, like, second after second, I'm putting more of my effort into suppressing whatever it is that I don't want to come out of my mouth or of my physical actions. And it's like you're holding back something that needs to erupt, I guess. But seriously, if there's anything I've learned, nothing is as big of a deal as it seems in the moment. Literally nothing. Nothing matters as much as it appears to matter in the present moment. And that's, easier said than explained. You might say, Jack, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Well, the moment that you're in, your mind and who you are is totally designed to only pay attention to the right now. The further you go back in evolution, the more and more, for lack of a better word, mentally retarded, handicapped. A goldfish has a 5-second memory, and cells don't have memories. Cells can't even think. They don't have this. They don't even think. So, if you want to be if you want to do your part in pushing evolution forward, then seriously take advantage of the invention of time. And not only that, but your specific ability to observe it. There is a past and there is a future. And just because you're not in either one at the moment doesn't mean either one is any less real. They're both hella real. Hella real. The past actually happened, and it is completely comprised of individual moments just like the one you're experiencing right now. And the future will be comprised of moments that you're experiencing just like the one you're experiencing right now. So if you can do whatever, it's breathing isn't even my most important one, to be honest. This thought process that I'm having right now is my most important thought process. Like, in these moments where it feels like I want to do one thing, but am being pulled towards something else, like pulled towards punching a woman in the face. You gotta understand that you're gonna have to live in the future. Like you're gonna have to live in the future. Like, if I tell her, yo, you can go fuck yourself, then I have to sit with the fact that my coworkers might see me as somebody that can't control themselves. Or I might start to see myself as someone who can't control themselves. I mean, that's the most damaging part of it. Like, it's what's my self-image of myself? Do I want to be someone that sees himself as very in control of what he does and how he interacts with the outside world? Or do I want to see myself as someone who is extremely impulsive and someone who's having a hard time, growing up and becoming mature? I don't know. That's the question you got to answer. And it's so hard because in these moments you can ask yourself that very question and the answer can be, oh, well, I can be the mature person and also tell this lady to go fuck herself, because if there's anything I've learned, it's that voicing how you feel is very important to, your emotion and your person. And if you're able to tell someone how you feel in the moment, you're much better off in this world. If you can't voice your own emotions, then, I mean, this is what people that are autistic, high on the autistic spectrum, work on every single day in special ed classrooms. They have laminated pieces of paper that have smiley faces. One's red, one's yellow, and one's green. And they are tasked with pointing to the one that they feel in the moment. They are tasked with describing their emotions, because that's a skill that is learned. And if I just let this lady walk all over me, then, I'm doing myself a disservice. And I wouldn't want to live in the future where I do that, because then in that future, I'm someone that just, isn't able to freely feel things. Well, there is always a future coming. And if you find yourself like this, maybe what I just described as that growing red ball in the back of my mind was actually the inability to decide. And I think for me personally, when I am most stressed is when I'm not in that sort of autopilot mode. There's just, you go through your day and you think certain things and you do certain things, and it's how you live. And when this lady comes around, I start to wonder. I'm like, wait, was I an asshole to her? Like, why is she doing this? Why is she? There is so much time to think back on it. You don't have to decide. I think that's also a huge piece of philosophy and advice. Like, there is no deadline. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is absolutely no deadline for the assignment of, you got to choose. Do you cuss somebody out or not? There's no deadline for that. You can just stand there, and think and think about it if you want. I mean, you don't have to not think about it. I think a lot of people make that mistake. A lot of people do their best to push these thoughts out of their head, and they just want to suppress the fact that they were struggling to decide. Dude, struggle. By all means, struggle. I could have done a better job, actually, because there's that opportunity, right? After she leaves the store, I'm left with just my coworkers, and then I have the opportunity to speak freely about how I felt with her. I all of a sudden have this ability that I didn't have before because I couldn't decide whether or not it was something I could do. Now it's like the easy decision comes on my plate, like, duh. I want to talk about it because there's what harm might come from talking about it? She's gone, right? She's not here anymore. So I turn to my coworker and I say, like, did you hear that lady? But if I could go back in time and do it again, I don't think I would have said, did you hear that lady? Because I think at the time I was still a little bit wondering, like, if I'm even right to bring it up, or if I should suppress. I think if it happened again tomorrow, I think I might turn to my coworker and say, I got really worked up around my interaction with this person. That's advanced. What I just said is extremely advanced, because that's what truly did happen. And that's how the better off you can, the better off you can accurately depict exactly what's happening with you in a moment, the more you're going to be able to do so. And the further you're going to, I don't even know how to describe. I actually don't know why is that any better than not. I actually don't know. Yeah, why is it that it's so important to be able to describe how you're feeling? Well, I mean, I think, it's easy to explain that. It's like, for me, people and relationships are why I live. Like, people are just the most important thing for you, for your health. I mean, there's background stuff in my mind, like eating, sleeping, and breathing and drinking. But at the forefront, it is people. With no people, you will die. I don't care if you have food, water, I don't care what you got. If you don't got friends, you are gonna die. That's why I'm on social media and I'm on YouTube, because I believe eventually I believe that it's already happening. I'm not alone right now. Like this episode is not live by any means, and I have to on my own edit and post it. But I'm not alone anymore. Like, there's someone in my call right now. Like, even if I don't actually, once again, I don't know if he's here or not. I think he might be. Yeah, he's there. But it's like, dude, it's working. Like, I see it working, because forever I filmed these episodes alone. It's like the nature of social media, the nature of this hobby that I've chosen myself. Because I was at a point in my life where I just knew I needed I needed a hobby. I needed a hobby. And I thought about all these things I could have chosen. And I thought, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't I choose the thing that is all about connection? And it's funny how long it took for me to have this level of connection. But I just know that my goal is to continue to put my person, my I don't know what I'm good for, but whatever it is, I want to put it on everyone's doorstep. Whatever anyone thinks I could be useful for, I want to let them know that I can be used. I would love to be used, especially if you're like a 5'6", dark hair, love to go to the beach, girl. Please use me. I would love to be used by you in particular. But back to what I'm saying, it's all about, for me, connection. And I think that's probably why this lady irked me so much, because I work my ass off at this, right? I try so hard. This is the avenue that I've chosen, just again and again, putting myself where people can see me. And this is just the way that I'm choosing to do it. There's infinite ways to do this sort of thing. And I feel like we all, as we grow up, choose some sort of avenue of being socially available. This is just, mine's just a little bit, I don't want to say different, but interesting, I guess. This lady made me feel, in a way, I think, like I just sucked. And that, it's honestly that's cool. That's it's important that people make you feel like that. I love my job, and my job's really important because that's the real world. People treat you like shit sometimes. That's just how it goes, my advice to you, because we have 40 seconds left in the episode, is, I don't know. My advice to you, we have 35 seconds left in the episode. I would say put yourself in people's face. Make a point to really exist. And I think you might find when you do that it's really hard. Because, for example, my coworkers, I tell you, my most meaningful relationships with and we're going to go a little bit over time here. My coworkers, whom matter so much to me now, because they are these people in my life that really my health depends on. I see them all the time, and if I don't see them, things start to get bad. I miss them. I put myself in their face all the time by showing up to work, by speaking to them, by joking with them. And it's like unlocks new things. Like, it's like I went from A, not putting myself in anyone's face, to B, thinking that this person, I annoyed them maybe. Like, oh, maybe I talk too much to this person. But my advice to you, and I finished this episode off finally by saying that you would much rather feel like you're annoying and feel like all the people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis hate you than feel like you're not worth reaching out to anyone, and that it's best that you stay in your room and avoid people. I promise you, the latter is not desired, and it will kill you. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.